Thank you for the great sharing. The pandemic and digitalization have continued to shape education. It has also changed the way lessons are delivered. Next up, we'll be featuring our faculty members from the School of Engineering, Dr. Tam, our Dean and Head of School for the School of Engineering and Technology, Jeannie, our Assistant Program Manager from the School of Health and Nursing, and Bernie, our Head of School for the School of Fashion and Design. They'll be sharing on the topic of teaching with technology. Over to you guys, please.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you to join us for this morning session. I believe this morning is a very unique and interesting combination with the three schools together with Dr. Tan and Jeannie and me. So what makes us this formula are so special because we do receive a lot of inquiry from the student because we have something in common that we are very hands-on based modules and for engineering and nursing and fashion design. So the students are worried, how can they learn better and how school can actually overcome during the pandemic. So today we are going to sharing our a little bit of our secret we learned from this pandemic, right? So Dadan, you got anything to share with us?
Yeah, during the pandemic, it's just really a new area where we push ourselves, or we have to do it online, or we have to explore new technologies to deliver our programs as well as to engage our students, especially during the pandemic area. So before this, we haven't thought of anything fully online programs, yes. But during this period, like it or not, we have to push everything, or we have to transfer everything online.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that is another thing that COVID has lead us into the new technology development in teaching and learning.
How about Jenny?
Oh, there's a lot
from
of
nursing.
Yeah.
A lot, huh?
Yeah, I think in a way we're probably very close to similar in the sense that a lot of our skills are very actually very hands-on, very practical.
Correct.
So it was so it's a very big switch. Like people of course worried like if we switch to online, will there be a problem like conducting our classes?
We ourselves also worried in the beginning stage.
Definitely. So I think from my side, the advantage for me, at least for the nursing side, was that actually the degree focuses a lot more on the critical thinking. You have to be a more strategic and planner already. So it's really more on your understanding of management as well and all your skills. So skill-based wise, it wasn't as strongly affected, but a lot of people were also resistant to the idea of online learning. So we had a lot of problems with that too.
Because too new to everybody.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a pandemic. Everything is happening so fast, but in a way, for my advantage was that in the industry speaking, they also led the way in a way. They did a lot of online teaching also. They had to switch to online teaching, like going COVID, so we are wearing the new PPE, how to wear the new PPE, all of it had to switch online as well. So there was so in a way that helped to overcome some of the resistance as well. So then, like I said, there was also a lot of new technologies that made online learning a lot easier. I think we really all benefited from that as well. So
maybe you can share some of the interesting technology tools, how nursing can be teaching online by using technology to overcome all these distant, challenging.
Yeah, I don't think you can overcome the fact, of course, that at the end of the day, you need practice skills on a human being, but there's certain things that we need to do that can't be done together in person sometimes as well. So in a hospital especially, there's a skill we call the resuscitation team. We have to, it's a
what is resuscitation team?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they also interested to know what is this about.
Yeah, so sorry about the industry jargon thing, but yeah, so for example, if in a sense, if the patient collapses, for example, has a heart attack, they do have this kind of thing, or they deteriorate even worse suddenly, then the nurse will suddenly have to alert, of course, the doctors, and the whole team rushes in to rescue the patient.
Everyone automatic go to one spot.
Very much, yes. So there is a procedure for this. So the workflow is that the resus team has to come together and really work hard to do all the CPR, put in all the get all the emergency drugs ready and all these things. So this is actually, the whole event is called a resuscitation. And it actually relies on a lot of teamwork. And the problem is that most of this team is comprised of people who may have never worked with each other before.
Never.
Never. Because literally, if you're the lucky doctor who literally came to my level that day and happened to be just seeing a patient that was transferred to my ward, for example, and then the code blue happens, you have to go there and help. So you don't even know my ward, but you have to be there.
No second thought, just go.
Yes. So
Amazing.
Yeah, so it means that the resource team has to really practice their skills, understand what the tasks required, and of course, and still cooperate well to really rescue the patient.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've always had a problem myself lah, as a junior nurse, when we don't get a lot of chance to practice. I hope you don't practice that too often also, really. But it's also one of the things where, because each person is also doing separate tasks.
Different tasks.
Different tasks. One is maybe preparing the drugs. One is really getting the oxygen into the patient. Another one is preparing all the tools for the doctor to do all the insertions or whatever necessary things to get, and even start. And the other one is getting the fit ready to like pump the heart, even. So there's, as the student, right? You don't know what to focus on, and you miss out a lot of things. But now there's a technology where this university actually filmed a resource team in action. So they actually so you can actually even rotate in the video the 360 degrees and look at what each member is doing. And these are all skilled people. That means they've done the resource a lot of times. These are your ICU trained people who have done it a lot of times.
360
Yeah,
degree
that's-
recording.
Yeah. So the new technologies, I think.
Yeah, and that was like really, really made a difference, because it's like now I can actually see what each member is focusing on, because when you come in, you can't pick the task you want to do. You have to pick whatever is not being done yet.
Okay.
So that was really one of the big things that changed a lot about nursing, and it's very good, because it means that there's a lot of skills and things that you can learn from that you can't necessarily set aside a time where everybody
Correct.
can come together and
Correct.
practice this. And it's not necessary that, and it's not and you may not even be practicing with that team anyway when the actual emergency happens.
Because you can't choose a team member for the
Yeah.
day, special. You don't have chance to practice together. It might be
Yeah.
different people, but everyone
Correct.
know their duty.
Yes.
And you, through this technology, you can see what's happening to other team member.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really in a way a very good insight as well lah. So I think in your fashion school also you have something new technologies as well that made fashion very different now.
Yes,
That instead
yes.
of just have to really like at a sewing machine and sewing.
Yes, for
Yeah.
the past 2 years, we really learned a lot, especially for some of the online module we conducted, because since 2020, since April, lockdown, and everyone are so panicked because we are heavily depend on the class experience, interaction. So the lecturer mindset is still with very traditional online learning, is turn on the camera and just talk. But we realized that, the school sending all our faculty go for the technology with learning, with technology training. So we are able to have very advanced and suitable specific tools to use for the particular lesson and module and for the different timing. For instance, traditionally when we learn fashion history and culture, we always go to the library getting picture, and some picture maybe the quality is not high resolution, and the lecturer need to scan it and transfer to the online, become a PPT. But now you realize that because the technology is so advanced, right, they can convert the old vintage documentary film into a high Full HD, 4K, and it's so real that the student can see the history, the time go backward, and the real people, and they create a lifestyle kind of story scene, and the student can feel themselves into the story instead of just going to the picture. Yeah, this is one of the achievement. I think that when we talk about fashion history and you online, the lecturer talk about it, and reading through the textbook is quite drowsy, I should say. I'm not going to hide from you. But when this movie coming in, costume 3D, and the student can, through this technology, you can see inside the garment structure from inside out. And that actually create a lot of the anxiety, for the student. Well, how am I going to improve? And the curiosity is there. And another technology we bring in last year called Brownsware. Actually, this program was in the market for the past 25 years. And it started from Adidas. And now they are open to the professional people, meaning that this program are not used for the individual, for the industry to use. So we call it V-Stitch. So when the student, they couldn't fly into Singapore to attend the physical sewing lesson, how they sew. So we are also creating our head, like how to sew. But this software can make you visualize using your mouse and monitor to sew a garment. It construct the pieces together and call V-stitches. And we realized that actually give a student another future advanced skill for them to understand in the future. It's no longer traditional way of running a fashion business, because the traditional way of running business, we need to do back and forth confirmation, sampling. If you are working in Southeast Asia, you serve the Europe or American company, the lead time from the first design draft to the final confirmation sample, it will take you about 6 months.
Wow.
It's a long journey because fitting, coming back, comment, getting the fabric right, and get the right, technique and skill. So now, through this process, it was shortened to left only 15 weeks. Ooh. Yeah, sometimes it was shortened until 5 weeks. So they make it more accurate, and it will avoid a lot of human error. For example, for the traditional men's tailoring, the buyer will request for 11 stitches happen in 1 inches. So the student can preset in the program and send for the sampling process in order for them to make a mistake, come back, you tell them the requirement. And that actually make them easier in order to read through the instruction, and they can just open the file and download to the production process. So they will be, everyone will know what to do. So that actually technology enable our students for the Industry 4.0 future. Yeah. I understand that Dr. Tang have a very fantastic robotic equipment. So maybe you could share with us. I'm always curious, how engineering, this hands-on creativity, a lot of physical lesson, how the student can actually benefit from this learning with technology.
I think technology has bring in another level of collaborative learning, where you can learn and collaborate with your peers online. As, for example, where your students design, send it to the stitchers or do the stitches, so they can design and then they collaborate. Each one of us, they can share their ideas, what to put in. For the robotics that we have at the labs, so students can program the robots remotely rather than coming to class.
That means they can remove from their country.
They can do the coding and then send the coding over, and then we can upload the source code into the robot's arm, and then they can do the programming itself. And also they can also adjust or reprogram according to their needs.
To make improvement.
Yeah, to make improvement, to do the alterations or iterations to their programs to meet their needs. So similarly to all the programs where students can come together to learn, right? For example, you have the software, you have the hardware, right? Then they can learn, especially those, nowadays a lot of 3Ds and VR, where students can learn and can come together and explain and explore, right? Because in VR, in VR setting, you can play and you can learn whatever reality you want, right? And there's no cost to it.
No
For example,
cost?
just imagine if you have a hands-on or you need to dismantle an engines, right? In a real situations, there's a high cost if you make any mistake to the engines. But in a VR settings, you can dismantle it and then put it back, or you can make mistakes as many times as you can until you are perfect.
And mistake made them perfect.
Yeah. So that is where I think technologies have bring us to the next level of learning, especially for those hands-on programs like ours.
Yes.
Yeah. For your stitchers, they can do.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So these are the things that I think we are moving forward to the next level of learning with technologies. Of course, beside that, we will need to have the hardware to support. For our schools, our MDIS, we have invested in the in the interactive learning platform. For our lecturers, we have the Idea Hubs for our lecturers to conduct lectures online.
What's Idea Hub?
Idea Hub is it's like an interactive panels, monitors, where the lecturers can present and they will have a live streaming, what do you call it?
From Huawei, right?
From Huawei, live streaming process. So lecturers can teach, and then the students, on the other hand, we have this live.
So they have whiteboard, and the student can actually contribute their idea at the same time seamlessly with the lecturer.
Yes. So I think not only the software part, but the hardware part is important as well. So we prepared from the point of a hardware as well as a software all our people as well. So, for example, we send our lecturers to attend the program like teaching with technologies to improve their skills, technology skills, right?
Yeah.
So I believe that when we start from the pandemic 2 years ago, everybody
Correct.
was so panicked, or maybe was not so say panic, trying our best to deliver a program.
For my
online.
words, I scared. You know, when the school sending all the colleagues, you know, return to the classroom to learn what is teaching or what is learning with technology, and we thought we know, no, in the
Yes,
beginning
yes,
stage,
yes.
and realized that it's so different, and there's so much variety, at least 360 different type of software and tools for us to use. Then actually we feel safe because we know that there is a support there, and for all the team member can use, you know, to enhance the lesson. And I believe a lot of students before they join us during this period of time, they do worry, you know,
Yeah, yes,
if
yes.
I cannot reach Singapore, how am I going to overcome the teaching? We might have a lot of distance between my classmates,
Yep.
you know. So, Dr. Tan, how you know balance these in-class student and so-called online student, their learning outcome?
So the main thing will be still back to the lecturers. We have to encourage the lecturers to use all the tools that they learn in the teaching with technology modules or the program, right? So with this engagement, which this program will enhance our lecturers' delivery to engage the students either online or physicals.
To
Yeah,
put them
to
together.
put them together, to integrate and to encourage collaborative learning, especially because online and physicals, online you need a lot more engagement and collaborative learning because they are not physically here, especially those cannot join us from
Yes,
overseas
yes.
during this pandemic. So we have to encourage the lecturers to use all the tools that they have
One
or they
step
learned,
forward,
yes, one
yes.
step forward, so that they can engage those overseas students with our local students who can
Right.
come physically, because we deliver our program hybrid, and currently we do it online or so. Student engagement is the one, because when you attend classes online, you'll be easily distracted, right?
Yeah.
You can have multiple screens at one time because we don't know what the students are doing.
Correct,
Right,
exactly.
because they're on the other end. So what we can do is to engage them with activities to achieve all the learning outcomes that we are supposed to achieve during the physical classes. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what we are trying to push or to encourage all our lecturers to do. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
How about Ginny? I come to you. How your students feel this learning from hybrid, online, offline kind of result end up?
I think I think ours was very fast. The adaptation was actually not too bad. At the beginning, yes, a lot of resistance, as I think I mentioned before. Then when they realized that there were advantages, because it's of the pandemic, especially a lot of them work in areas of high risk, high infection. So they suddenly realized, oh yeah, if I go online, I can protect myself and my classmates. So there was a lot
Which
of
is
this
so true, though.
consideration, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they once they got, because for us, I think we're very, very realistic as an industry.
Fairly
We're
fine with
yeah.
that.
So as long as there's a good reason for this, then they adapt they really adapt and to it. So a lot of them, I think, are going to ask me in future whether our
Yeah, I think
classes
it's
will
so
be
true
online.
because for engineering, nursing, and fashion, those student hands-on module, they every day deal with real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, mistake means the things doesn't
Yeah,
work.
exactly. A lot of waste, a lot of something.
Correct,
is,
correct.
Yeah, and a lot of problems for people as well if you're not realistic about it.
Correct. Well, for my school fashion student, after 2 years, you know what happened in the classroom?
Yeah.
Those students who in campus, they also prefer to turn on their computer to join the so-called overseas student together,
Yeah.
meaning that
Wow.
they want the laptop or their device to be aside and receive the lecturing from the teacher and also join the online activity. So the student, I realized that they are moving very fast and they're very good, to
Yeah.
adapt to the technology.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they feel excited because you really trigger them something that they never learned before, they don't know. Because they are young, they thought, we know technology. But after that, they come to school, they realize that the school know more.
Yeah.
So they're actually quite enthusiastic to understand, what can they learn. from the technology. And it's also good that, when the tools they have it, they can have it extension for the communication in the future in their work. How do you think, Dr. Dan?
Yeah, that is true. Because if they are in a class and they need to communicate, right, with their classmates, then with this, new ideas will generate. I believe so in fashion and
Yes.
yeah. So because you need to generate, if you discuss, if you work it on your own, I think you have limited imagination, you have limited this creativity.
Yeah.
So when you come together online and discuss, then the new thing will happen. A lot of things is through
Yes,
discussion,
new
right?
way of
New way of
teaching and
things,
learning
yeah.
will come out.
And you learn a lot from other
Yeah,
people.
because just imagine if you are looking at, you alone is looking at one source. You can,
Correct.
that's okay. You can do
One
with,
solution.
with the time that you have. But if you are in a group, especially online, so instantly everybody will have the, for example, 10-minute sessions. You can have 10 people working on the same thing, but the information they collected is way above
Greater than
all,
that,
greater than you're just working alone. So that's why I think this is why it's important that we encourage our students and lecturers to use technologies, especially now. As a new waves coming on is the metaverse and kind of thing,
Yeah.
NFTs. So there's another area we need to move really fast.
Yes.
Yeah, when we move into metaverse, I think we won't be sitting here together anymore.
Yeah,
We're all online using
so
avatars.
meaning that Dr. Dan from the School of Technology, in the future we will meet you in the meta world, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, metaverse,
Who
yeah.
knows?
Yeah. So it's all virtual after this. You can stay at home. We can stay at home. Just can talk. We can use. You might not see me, right? The real me, but I'm there. So that is a thing that is moving real fast in technologies, especially in learning and teachings.
I think just now we realized that learning and teaching is all the skill and the knowledge will keep evolving. So MDIS actually adapt to the
Yes,
new
yes, we do.
technology, and from there we develop a new skill of teaching and learning.
Yes.
Even the student also evolve from the traditional way of,
Learning.
like for example presentation. Some of the students are quite shy because
Yeah.
for fashion they always need to have a lot of presentation, because if they don't present and they don't understand their work well, how can people understand their products? So I realized that if we convert into online presentation, some of the students are really willing to try their best, start from the online presentation rather than the physical.
Yeah.
So in order from the traditional, we encourage them, you can do it, in the physical class, and everyone waiting the student to get ready. And now they are feel comfortable, after they come back to the campus, they are very easy and smooth adapt to the presentation skill. I realized that the technology also helped them to have a transition period, for them to stand forward
Yeah.
from the learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I get, learning from the student. Oh, okay. So presentation can start from the online presentation first, just like today what we are doing here.
Yes.
Then after that, they maybe can have physical, seeing the real crowd. Yeah. How to
Yes,
see
yes.
all the students come back to the school. And then we will we'll be very happy to show you around our campus, engineering school, fantastic equipments, and nursing school, beautiful, the cleaners, okay, and the dummy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think yours is always the most fun to walk by, because every time you look at your, I actually do look at your displays, and I love the displays for the fashion.
We are the naughty kids, yeah. Sorry to make so much noise. Yeah. So today is a wonderful session. We're sharing all our 3 schools in common. When we also clear some doubt from the student, maybe behind the camera or behind the screen. You might think that if I cannot come to Singapore, but this physical lesson, how am I going to adapt? How am I get benefit from my learning? So don't worry. We all learn from this journey, and we experience we are ready and we are fully equipped. Like what Dr. Dan just now mentioned, we have the equipment and the hardware and software, and the most important, we have a lecturer here.
Yep.
Our lecturer team are fully equipped with the teaching with technology skill. So don't have to worry about the distant learning. It's just another new way for you to explore.
Yep, absolutely right. Yep. So as next generation students,
Meta
you really,
generation.
you really have to embark on different type of technologies, yeah, you have to open up yourself, open up your mind to accept these changes.
Yeah.
There will be no more, I mean, not to say no more, will be lesser and lesser physical classes. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody is going to have online programs.
It become
online.
norm.
You become a norm. So nowadays, even some of my students are requesting the online program because you can learn at your own comfort and you can interact with your classmates instantly, yeah, and you can get information instantly as well because you're connected to the internet, you're connected to the world. So if any questions pop up during the discussions, you can easily grab the information on your hands, yeah, the first-hand information straight away.
Yeah.
So that's why, so open your mind to new learning,
Yeah.
yeah, especially with technologies. In
My
this
students are
area.
very happy with the open mind and change, way of thinking of lecturer. Because traditionally, the lecturer will never allow the student to bring the handphone or doing messaging in the class. After this, they know that the student using their gadget to communicate with the classmate. They're doing some research, so it become very known. So they are welcome, your device in the class to use in order to keep their handphone aside. And now, you can keep your phone with you. You are perfectly fine.
Yes, that's a great draw, I think.
Yeah.
Now everybody also cannot divorce from the phone already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for everyone to spend the wonderful 30 minutes with us for this morning. We really hope that I can see you soon in MDIS School of Engineering, Nursing and Fashion.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks
you
for your
very
time
much. Yeah.
and
Yes.
enjoy
Thank
our
you for your
following
time.
session. Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.